Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the ATM podcast, Advice to Myself. So I think I should have made this episode first. Should be talking about myself and explain why I'm doing this podcast, how I'm going to do it, and where I see this podcast like years from now. But let's jump right into it. Anyways, my name is Mike Mai, born and raised in Philadelphia. I've been basically everywhere. North Philly, Northeast, South Philly. I'm in Southwest right now, right by the airport. For any of my fans that want to donate or send me any gifts, my address will be in the description below. Just kidding. But yeah, so what's the purpose of this podcast? Why am I doing this and how am I conducting this podcast? So basically what I do is I interview everyday people with everyday life experiences, someone that has a story to tell. And the purpose of the podcast is to educate, inspire, relate, but most importantly, educate. So I have people that come on to the show, and what they do is they relate their experiences, and if they can go back in time to the younger self, what would be one piece of advice? And that advice, I would like to reach out to, the mass, like anyone that's watching, but most importantly, the youth, because I feel like the youth is definitely misguided and misled. So yeah, so that's the ultimate purpose and the reason why I'm doing this podcast. And it's fun. I mean, I've always wanted to do something like this. It feels good to link up, a group of like-minded people that want to, help educate, elevate, and basically just doing positive stuff. That's the most important things. And right now, the Phillies are down by 2. Pisses me off. Phillies, get your stuff together, please. But yeah, ultimately, the main purpose of the podcast is to educate, inspire, elevate. That's it, straight up. And most importantly, reach out to the youth. And I want to let the youth know that, whatever it is that you're going through, it is not the end. Okay? And relating to experience. I already talked about it, but I'll talk about it again. Okay? How this podcast is conducted is I interview everyday people, everyday experiences. They come on the show. I ask them a question. The question is, if you can go back in time during your teen years, what is one piece of advice you would give to yourself? They talk about your experience. They elaborate why they said what they said. And then towards the end of the podcast, the episode, they will talk about an event that changed their life ultimately, personal or non-personal. It could change, internally, externally, but an ultimate change, like an event that changed them ultimately or had like a huge impact on them. So, and then I would ask them whether or not if they would keep that same event or they would change anything about that event. All right. So that's how the podcast is conducted. The question that's being asked, the main purpose of the podcast. I think I did talk about myself already. Yeah. Mike Mai, born and raised in Philadelphia. Been everywhere. High school, middle school. Let's see, middle school. I went to Thomas Middle School. And then Thomas Middle would then turn into a mastery. And I got kicked out of the South Philadelphia mastery. And I went to West Philadelphia and Shoemaker. There's a long story behind that. And I still think to this day, it's complete BS why they kicked me out. It's up for discussion. Maybe one day I have a podcast with the principal and whatever it is, and we could talk about it then. But basically, I had to fight for my life, and they expelled me because I had to fight for my life. What else? Who do I plan on interviewing? Anybody. Anybody that has a story that they want to tell, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy. I'm more than open to, talk to you, talk to anybody that has something positive to say or a message that they would like to give to people and let people know that, especially the youth. Like I said, I want to definitely cater to the youth because I want to have a positive impact on the youth. Basically that, that you're never alone, to keep striving, to push through. If not a lot of people know, but let's do the actual podcast on myself, alrighty? So one piece of advice. So I'm in my late 20s. I'm not saying how old I am. For all of you that want to know who I am, how old I am, you can find me, look me up. I'm pretty sure it's not that hard to find out that information. But one piece of advice to my teen year self is to really put your head down and hustle. The only reason why is because I know who I am right now, presently, as you know, at this moment in time. I know who I am as a person, and I feel like in my teen years I was so carefree and I didn't really care about much in life because honestly I really didn't think that I would live past a certain age because of the people that I were involved with, and I didn't think I was going to be any good in life. But later on throughout life, I realized that I have a purpose and there's something that I want to do, and I think this is actually part of my purpose as well in life. Yeah. So advice, if I can go back to my teen self, is to put your head on and just hustle. Like no BS. Like stop chasing girls. That's part of another advice. Stop chasing girls. Focus on school. Definitely 100% focusing on school. Learn the trades. Develop my strengths. Know what my weaknesses are, and develop a cushion for my weakness. Because weakness, everyone will have weakness. It's just a matter of how much of that weakness hold on to a certain person. So definitely be able to know my strengths, work on my strengths, and cushion my weaknesses so that my weakness wouldn't hinder me from my growth. So a certain event in my life that I think if I can go back and change, honestly, a lot of people will hate me for this, but when I was in high school, I believe during my freshman year, something that I did was I ran away from home for about a good 2-3 weeks. I just could not deal with the pressure and and just my mom like bitching in my ear, this and that, and excuse my language, by the way. Basically, I just felt suffocated, and I came home one night and came home very late, around like 11:30. And when we're young, we don't really know how much our parents care for us. And looking back to this day, I still think I definitely regret this moment. I came back 11:30, and they yelled at me. And then the next morning, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go to school. I'm going to run away from home, and I'm going to go and pack and hang out with my friends. So I did that. I did just that while they were sleeping. While I was in my room, I was packing all my clothes, stole the phone that they gave me. Yeah, so the next morning I didn't go to school. And yeah, so I didn't go to school. And then I think like 2-3 weeks after, well, let's talk about the 2-3 weeks that I wasn't home. So during that time, oh man, it was a hard time. I think, man. See, even still thinking about it now, it still frustrates me because like, if I can go back, I just like look at myself like, dude, like this is not worth it. Like, don't do this to yourself, especially like how you're going to like hurt your family. So especially my younger brother, I wasn't always a good role model, like a good, yeah. But yeah, so during those 2-3 weeks, I did a lot of things I'm not proud of. Stole, fought, and some other stuff, but I'm not going to talk about it. But yeah, so I did a lot of stuff I wasn't proud of. On the second week, I was definitely homesick. Cried like crazy because I didn't know what to do. Like I was like, should I just go back home and tell them I'm sorry, this won't happen again? But my pride and ego, when we're so young, like we have a lot of pride and ego, and it gets in the way of our happiness and the people that truly matters to us in life. So yeah, so on the third week, and I was also really fat during this time as well. Like if you think this is fat, like you see pictures of me when I was a freshman in high school. I was super big, but we won't go there. And none of my friends should be posting any of my fat pictures because then we're gonna have a problem. So yeah, so it's crazy how I got caught too. So let me tell you how I got caught. Ready? So the third week, I was like, I'm hungry. Like I need to get something to eat. And it just so happened there was a McDonald's like 2-3 blocks from where the place I was staying at. And my fat ass was like, let's go to McDonald's during school time. I didn't think that maybe if I held in my appetite just a little bit, I probably wouldn't get caught. I probably wouldn't have gotten caught. But thank God I got caught. But yeah, I walked to McDonald's and walked back, and then a police pulled me over. I think it was a truancy. I don't know, but a police pulled me over and was like, yo, son, like, where are you going? And I'm like, I'm going back home. And he's like, aren't you supposed to be in school? And then I was like, I just froze. I didn't know what to say. So he told me to sit there tight. So while he's in the car, and I was outside, he was like, "Yo, you need to come with me." And I'm like, "Why? What did I do wrong?" And he was like, "Just come with me." And that split second, I was like, "Yo, should I like just haul ass? Like, what should I do? Should I run?" So, anyways, I didn't run because I was too much of a pussy. So he sat me in the back of the cop car, and then he drove me to my home. I think I don't remember. I think he either drove me to my home or drove me to the police station, one of those. And yeah, and then that's when I met my mom and dad, and they were crying. They were this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, fuck. Damn. Wow. And there's a lot of other details that I didn't get into because I do want to save it for a separate podcast, separate episode. But basically, I remember after being, I don't remember it vaguely, but I know that I got home and it was just a huge fight between me and my parents. And then just like, then at that moment, that's when I realized like, oh my God, like I really just did this. Like, and shout outs to my friend Trunk too. I'm like, he doesn't want to be on this podcast, but I'm going to get him on here because there's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about, and only personal stuff. Oh my God, 05. What the? Oh my gosh, Phillies, what the fuck, man? Okay, anyways. What the fuck? Okay, sorry about that. Anyways, yeah, Trunk, I'm definitely gonna have your podcast. We're gonna talk about, I think out of all the people, well, Ricky, there's Trunk, and there's a few other people. Some are not with us, and rest in peace to all my fallen brothers. But yeah, just Trung, Ricky. I'm gonna have you guys on podcast whether you guys like it or not, and we're gonna talk about our younger years, and it's gonna be super cool. But yeah, so that's one event. If I can go back and change it, I 100% would. And I get it when people say, "Hey, listen, things happen for a reason. You either learn, you live and you learn." But that moment specifically, I would definitely go back in time. I would change because the amount of the anguish, the pain that I made my parents felt during those 2-3 weeks. They told me they thought that I was dead, this and that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I did this to them. And yeah, so if there was an event in my life that I would go back and change, it would be that specifically. And yes, I would change it because, yeah, I just would. Yeah, even thinking about this at this moment still makes me depressed. Sad that I did that, and I wish I can go back in time and just look at myself and just like slap myself real hard. But yeah, I'm just keep this episode very simple and short. Thank you guys for watching. Also, there will be a VMG episode. It's going to be 3 episodes. It's going to be 1 episode with VMG, the group members. So me, Hi, Liz, and Julie. For those that don't know, I used to be in a music group called VMG. Vegan Music Group, shout outs to, what I'm saying. And then there's going to be another episode with me, my ex-manager, and my ex-producer. I still consider them my manager and my producer, my brothers. I love you guys so much, and I always will. Nothing's ever going to break that. Yeah. Shout out to Snow, shout out to Rod. I love you guys to death, and we'll always love you guys. And then the 3rd episode, I'll bring all of us together, and we're going to sit there, and we're just going to talk a bunch of shit. Oh, I fucking miss you guys so much. And if you guys are watching, I can't wait to see all you guys again. It's going to be a big reunion. It's going to be a huge reunion. I got bottles ready for us. And yeah, no cookies, Rod. Julie, and Hi. Julie and Hi, you cannot drink. No alcohol for you. No alcohol for you either, Liz. Only me, Rodney, and Snow could drink. That's it. I don't care. Because I know Hi is going to be jumping on these tables and try to break one of these tables and go crazy. And I'm not having that. But yeah, so to close off, thank you guys for watching this episode. Remember to like, subscribe, and if you found this episode entertaining, please, by all means, share this to your mom, your grandmom, your grandfather, your uncle, your auntie, your granny. Do that, okay? Thank you so much, guys. Have a great night. Well, yeah, great night. Phillies, what the fuck?